Today we're going to discuss about the other high availability, which is a replication. Till now we have completed database mirroring, lock shipping, and now we're going to discuss today about a replication. To give an overview, the differences from database mirroring or lock shipping, the replication is a high availability at object level. If you go back to database mirroring or lock shipping, we can maintain a copy of exact database. But in replication, we can maintain copies of database objects. Replication is at object level. That is at table level. If you have a database with 100 tables and you are just concerned with 10 tables in the database and remaining 90 tables are not critical and it doesn't matter about those 90 tables. You are only concerned about the 10 tables, then you can go for replication. You can replicate only those 10 tables to the other side of the server. So basically replication is at object level, but it is not at database level. And in replication, we have got types. The first is the snapshot replication, and the second type is transactional replication, and third is merge replication. So these are the types of replications available in SQL Server. So each type of replication has its own technique of working. So the terminology we use in replication is publisher, distributor, and subscriber. As the name it sounds, they acts the same. Publisher is the one who published the data, that means the original database. Subscriber is the one who receives the data, the end user, and distributor is the one who acts as a mediator between publisher and subscriber. So if you look at the example over here, it is a common replication architecture. It is not specific to snapshot or transactional or merge, but it's very common architecture to a replication, where on left hand side you can see this is my publisher server. That means this is the original database. It's a production database, and I do have applications connecting to this database, and among this database there might be some hundreds and thousands of data tables exist, but I might be replicating very few of them. So when you add a table to replication, from then onwards we call the table as article. I repeat again, when we add a table to a replication, from then we call the table as articles. So you need to select the list of tables that you want to replicate on the other side, and once you select those tables, we call them as articles. Guys, can you hear me? Okay, all right. So while configuring the replication, we will be provided with an options like, okay, how many tables you want to add for replication. We can check those tables and that will be added for replication. So once you select the table to be part of replication, then we need to choose the subscriber to which server you want to replicate the data. So on the right hand side, it is my subscriber, and this subscriber server will also be up and running, and it is a read and writable database. Users or applications can still connect to this database and they can perform read and writes. So how the data will be transferred from publisher to the subscriber? So in replication, we will have agents. Agents are nothing but SQL jobs. So for each and every replication, there are certain different agent types, and those agent types acts accordingly as per the replication. So we have three types of replication: snapshot replication, transactional, and merge. Each replication has its own agent. So using those agents, the data will be picked up from your publisher, and through distributor, the data will be sent to the subscriber. So what are the changes happening on your publisher database tables? Those changes will be captured by your distributor database, and the distributor database will send those transactions onto your subscriber database. So this is the overall basic architecture about the replication. To configure replication, we need at least two servers. One server is for publisher and the other server is for subscriber. But what about the distributor? You can use your publisher server itself as a distributor. You can just map it to the real time. If you opt to get any magazines, if you opt to get any weekly magazines, right? So the one who publishes the magazines, the one who gets it printed, or the one who writes those books, he is a publisher. And for every city, there will be a distributor to distribute those magazines to you. So those are the distributor who send the magazines to your doorstep, and you are the one who receives the magazines, or the end user, that is a subscriber. So that is how it really works in SQL, and you can map it to your maybe for movie industries, the one who prepares or who designs the movie, they are publishers, and once they are done with the movie, they will give that movie rights to a distributors based upon the regions, and then the distributors will play the movies on the local theaters, and we are the end users, we go and watch them. So we are the subscribers, and the distributor is the one who gets the movies into the theaters, and the publisher who actually produced that movie. So it is almost very similar. So let us jump on to the types of replications we have, how each replication works. So the first, we're going to talk about the snapshot replication. Snapshot replication is a very simple replication where you will have a publisher with articles, and on right hand side you have got a subscriber with the same articles. But for all the types of replications, only the in between, the distributor side, the changes will happen. For snapshot replication, what happens is, once you decide what tables you want to add it in replication, and you set up a snapshot replication, then a snapshot agent will be created on your distributor server. One second. I just got a message from Ishwar. Okay, all right. So in snapshot replication, the snapshot agent, what it does is, initially the snapshot agent will be created in distributor. Okay, so if we are using only two servers, one server that will be having publisher and distributor, and the other server is a subscriber. So in that case, there will be a snapshot agent will be created, and this snapshot agent, what it does is, it will go back to your publisher tables. It will take out all the all the schema generation, the table scripts, and it will also take out the bulk data. The data in the table will be taken out and it will be kept in a snapshot folder. I repeat it again. In snapshot replication, a snapshot agent will be created, and the role of the snapshot agent is to go and generate the script for the tables that are part of replication, and then after export all the data of the table into flat files, into .csv files. Okay, and those files will be kept in a folder called snapshot folder. We also call it as a replication working directory. So once all the table scripts and data are available in this folder, then your distributor agent, there will be another agent which is a distribution agent. This distribution agent will take the input of the snapshots, whatever it got, and it will be initialized to your subscriber. So the snapshot agent, it will go and take the snapshots of all these table in the form of files, like it generate the scripts, and it also export the data into the flat files, that is a .txt or .csv files, and then after the distribution agent will take those files and initialize them on the subscriber. So this is the architecture of the snapshot replication. So let me show you an example here how it really works. In snapshot replication, I have a database and I've added one table that to this snapshot replication, and this one table at the moment it has got 100 rows. Okay, so initially when I have set it up when I have set it up replication using this snapshot agent, what it does is it took the snapshot of 100 rows and kept it in folder, that is we call it as a repl data folder. The 100 rows were copied here, and from here the distribution agent takes the data and push to the subscriber. So 100 rows have got into subscriber. And now assume a user has inserted 10 rows in this table. So in total we have got 110 rows in your source table. And when the snapshot agent runs on the distributor side, it takes the snapshot of all 110 rows. When a snapshot runs, it takes the data that is 110 rows total. It doesn't know that okay, only 10 rows were inserted and I need to take only 10 rows. It doesn't work that way. The snapshot agent always take all the data in the table irrespective of whether they have changed or not changed. So in this way here, instead of just taking up 10 rows, as it is a snapshot agent, it picks up 110 rows in total, and again it will be kept in REPL data folder. So total now 110 rows. Through distribution, those 110 rows will be pushed on to the other side. So earlier 100 rows will be overwritten with this 110 rows. And maybe after 10 minutes of time, user has deleted 5 rows. So now the total rows on your source would be 105, right? And again, when the snapshot runs, it takes out the 105 rows from your source and push it onto the distributor, and from there subscriber, the total rows you can find is 105. That means it will completely overwrite. It will take all the data from your source and it will overwrite on the destination every time when a snapshot agent runs. So maybe this might look something odd. If you have very few rows, then that's all right. But if you have got some 100 GBs of data, then it would be very complex for a SQL Server to pull all the data across on the other side every time. If I have 100 GB of tables which I am replicating and the user did a change of 1 MB. A user has updated records with a worth of 1 MB data, but the snapshot agent still takes all those 100 GB data again. Even though it is a 1 MB data change, is the snapshot agent going to fetch all the rows from the table. So that is one of the disadvantages we can think of, but there are quite few scenarios where people still using snapshot replication. Maybe for highly transactional databases, the snapshot replication is not suitable, but for the one where you have very less updates happening on a database, maybe once in a day, so in that case you can go for a snapshot replication. The database which has got very less updates or transactions, for those cases you can go for a snapshot replication. So did you understand this snapshot replication? Or else I have one more PowerPoint presentation. I can show you that as well. So this is the same for snapshot replication. I've got one more picture over here. So this is my published database and this is my published tables, and on right hand side you can see my subscribing database. So the snapshot agent will first take the snapshot of all the published tables and it will be kept in a location, and from there the distribution agent will take those files and data and initialize them onto the subscribing database. So this is all what happens every time when a snapshot agent runs. So let me show you a demo for this. Okay, and this is my publisher. I'm taking this is as my publisher, and this is my subscriber. And as I have got only 2 servers, I want to use my publisher itself as a distributor. It's still possible. So in order to set up a replication, snapshot replication, the first thing I need to have a database. So possibly I pick it up CRM underscore differential 1 as my publisher. So I don't have the database on the other side. So in replication, you don't need to take full backup and log backup and restore on the other side. It's not required. You can still do that, but it's not mandatory. You can just create a new database here. It's CRM underscore differential 1, and there is no other prerequisite. One prerequisite is to have similar SQL versions, and there's no other prerequisite like you have got in database mirroring and log shipping to have database in full recovery model. But in replication it's not required. Database can be in any recovery model. It's not to have in full recovery. So I just created a CRM underscore differential 1. So on my source I might have tables. Okay, there's a students table, but on destination it's a very blank fresh database. Okay, so now what I do is Let me close all these windows. So let me create another table in this database, CRM underscore differential 1. Okay, I'm creating a basic table with one column, ID integer. Okay, CRM differential 1. Yeah, I've created a table as well. So now, in order to configure a snapshot replication, we need to go to replication here, expand it, and you can see publications. So this is my publisher server and this is my subscriber server. Okay, so right click on local publications and select new publication. So as this is the first time I'm setting up a replication on this SQL instance, at next wizard it will ask me to configure the distributor. So as this is the first time I'm setting up replication, so it will ask me to configure a distributor. So here I have two options here. Either use the existing SQL instance as its own distributor, or if you have any third server which you want to use for distributor, then you can select this option. Okay, so for now I want to use my publisher itself as a distributor. So I go with next, and this is a snapshot folder. If you go back to the PowerPoint, so the folder which I was talking about here, that's the same. It is asking you to where it should take a snapshot. So by default it picks up this folder which is in your root directory. If you don't want to keep your snapshots in this folder, we can always change it, and it is always advised not to keep anything in your C drive. So probably I can create a new folder somewhere in D drive, or in your real time you could be able to create a new folder in one of your drives and just provide those drives information, the path information here. And I go on to next. Probably I will change this path, or else it would be hard for me to browse that path all the time. So I just create a new folder here saying REPL data, and just copy this path, change it, and from now onwards this snapshot will be taken to this location. Go to next. Select the database for which you want to set up snapshot replication. It is CRM underscore differential 1. Go on to next. Select the type of replication you want to go with. It's snapshot. Go to next. And this is where it gives you the object names. Select the tables which you want to set up for replication. It is not only for tables. If you have any stored procedures, views, functions, it will be listed at bottom and you can select them. It is for all the database objects, tables, views, stored procedures, functions, triggers, everything you can replicate. As of now, I only have a tables in the database, so it was listing a tables here. So in this both tables, I would like to replicate only one table. Okay, you can still do that. If you want to replicate only one or two columns, then you can still do that. That means, okay, you want to replicate only name from students. It is still possible. So you can replicate at table level, column level, and it is also possible to replicate at row level. So hope you are clear up to this level, the table level and column level. So when I talk about row level, it means assume you have a table and that table has data from January of this year until today. Okay, so it's almost contains around 5.5 months data. But the requirement is you want to replicate only current month data onto the other side. Although the table contains 5.5 months data, but you want to replicate only current month data onto the other side. So we can filter the rows. So that's what the next step we are going to look at. So I will make it as a table. Go on to next. I've selected students table. Okay, so this is where I'm talking about the table rows. If you want to filter your rows, saying that, okay, I only want to replicate the data that is greater than May 1st of 2016. I don't want to replicate the data that is older than 31st April. So you can just click on add and you can write the query here saying that select star from table where date greater than May 1st, 2016. So if you create that way, if there are any changes that meets this condition will be copied on the other side. So I'm not filtering any rows at the moment and go on to next. And this is the snapshot agent. Subscriptions are initialized when a snapshot of publication schema and data. The snapshot agent creates the snapshot. So when the snapshot agent runs, you will find the snapshots will be created in this folder. So the first option is, if you check this one, it will, once we are done with this wizard, it will immediately take the snapshot of the students table. Okay, and if you want to schedule this snapshot agent to run very frequently, like maybe once in a day or once in 2 days, then you can go and select this snapshot agent. So for now I'm not scheduling this snapshot agent to run. While in demo, I will try to execute this snapshot agent manually and I will show you the results. So you can go on to next. We need to provide the security settings for this snapshot agent. Under what security credentials the agent should run. So I'm selecting the agent to run under SQL Server Agent Service account. So I'm asking it to run under SQL Server Agent Service account. If you have any specific account that can be used for replication, you can provide the username and password here. So for now, to make it simple, I'm using agent service account. You can go on to OK and then go next, and can go next and provide the publication name. So I say it as CRM underscore snapshot underscore pub. You can finish. So this will configure the distributor, then after it will create the publication, and after it will add articles, and as a last step it will start the snapshot agent. So the snapshot agent is also started and you can see a folder got created. You can open it and it will create a folder with timestamp, and you can see this is how the snapshot looks like. It will take the script of the tables and it will also load the data into one of these files. The BCP file does contains the data in it. Schema file, it holds the schema of the table. You can open it. So I will pick it up notepad. So this is the schema to create the table. And if you have any indexes and any other dependencies, foreign keys, it does script out all those things. And once we are done with the publication and distribution setup, now it is a time to configure the subscriber. You can expand this publication and you can see the publication has been created. You can right click on this and select new subscription and go on to next. Select the publication and go to next. We have two options here. When a distribution agent creates, do you want it to create on your distributor side or on your subscriber side? This option, what it means is a distribution agent will be created. So where you want to create that distribution agent? Is it on your publisher, that is you are on your distributor server, or you want to create it on your subscriber server? What makes a difference? What happens if I create on your distributor and what happens if I create on subscriber? The major thing is if you run this distribution agent on your publisher server or on your distributor server here, it is nothing but a push subscription. So the distributor will push the data to the subscriber. And if you select the second option, the agent will be created on your subscriber and that agent will pull the data from your publisher. It's nothing but a push and pull. Whether you want to go for push or you want to stick with pull. You can use either way, but using a push is a recommended one. In perspective of database administration side, it would be easy to maintain. And at the same time, there will be extra work for your publisher. Your publisher has to take snapshot and your publisher has to push the data to your subscriber. That's the extra work you have for your publisher. If you select the pull subscription, then what happens is your publisher will take snapshot and keep the files in a folder. Then that's it. It's work done. Then your subscriber responsibility to go and pull the data from that snapshot folder. So if you don't want to keep an extra work for your distributor, then you can go and select the pull subscription. So did you understand this point here? Push subscription and pull subscription. It's nothing but push subscription is something like the distributor will bring the magazine to your doorstep. That's a push subscription. If you opt for pull subscription, that means you have to go to e-stores and pick up the magazine. That's the difference. So I'll be selecting push subscription and you can go on to next. Select the subscriber database. This is subscriber instance and this is my subscriber database. So you can go on to next. And the distribution agent security, provide the distribution agent security. I still want to run the distribution agent security under SQL agent service account. You can go on to click OK, go to next. And how you want to synchronize? Do you want to synchronize all the time or on demand only? So probably we would like to synchronize the data all the time. If any changes happens on our publisher and a snapshot has been taken, that snapshot need to be applied onto the other side immediately. So if that is the case, you can go for run continuously and you can go to next. And this is when to initialize subscription. You are ready with this snapshot here. The snapshot is ready. Okay. So when you want to initialize this snapshot onto your subscriber, is it immediately or is it at next synchronization? At next synchronization mean when the distribution agent runs. So I want to do it immediately. Once I finish with this wizard, I want this snapshot should be initialized onto the subscriber. So you can go on to next and next, then finish. So the snapshot will be now initializing onto your subscriber server. So it's done. You can go back to your publisher server do a refresh, and we should get the table, that is the students table in this database. You can see here the students table is now available. Now if you go and do any changes, so this is publisher and this is subscriber. So let me go and add a record in the students table. Okay, I have two columns, but I don't have any data in this table. So let me insert students okay, I'm inserting a single record in this table. So I've got one record in the students table. Now how this will be transferred on the other side? It is with the help of Snapshot agent. So under SQL Server agent, you refresh and you see there are new jobs will be created. So you can see there are two jobs created that are for replication. So in order to check, this is for snapshot. You can see it says REPL underscore snapshot. So this is a snapshot agent and this is a distribution agent. So first we need to, I haven't scheduled this agent, the snapshot agent, so I will be starting it manually for now. So before I start it, let me go back here and you can see this folder got created at 5:31 p.m. right? So now I will start this snapshot agent and you observe here a new folder will be created with a fresh snapshot. You can see here the snapshot agent successfully completed and the snapshot has been taken, the latest snapshot. And now the distribution agent will, we asked it to run continuously, right? So this might be running all the time. Okay, so let us wait for 60 seconds to see the changes gets affected on the other side. So it is a CRM differential 1 table. Let me do a right click and select. Yeah, you can see here the data got transferred onto our subscribers, the row 1. So this is how the snapshot agent works. So any questions? You can monitor the replication, the status, how it working. You can just go on to the, you can right click on the publication and you can see launch replication monitor. You can click on it. And once you come over here, you can expand and you can select the publication and it will give you the status, how it is working. You can right click on this and go to details to see how rows are getting transferred. You can see there are one row which I have copied just before. The snapshot was taken on it and it got applied on the other side. So you can use the replication monitor to check the ongoing things, how replication is performing. There's a question, how to know which one is replica DB? You can always, once you connect to the SQL and expand the replication, you can move your mouse on top of it and it will give you the complete details like publisher, publication database, and it also gives the what type of publication it is. It is a snapshot or transactional or merge, and immediately you can, you obviously find the server name itself under the subscriber and the database name, but still if you move your mouse you will get more information about what is a subscriber and where it located. So this is overall about the snapshot replication. So if you're fine with this, then I would like to go with the next type of replication, which is a transactional replication. So do you want me to go ahead? Alright, so this is the picture of this transactional replication. It almost looks similar, but having said that, the only difference will happen here. So you have got a publisher server and you have got a subscriber server, so you might be replicating few articles. So in distributor, for the first time, it was not mentioned here, but for the first time when you set up transaction replication, for the first time the snapshot agent will take the snapshot of all the articles and it will be kept on a working directory, and that snapshot will be applied to the distribution agent. It happens for the first time. In all type of replication, snapshot agent does exist in order to copy all the data from your publisher tables and initialize them on a subscriber. So once the snapshot agent takes the initial snapshot and applies, then your log reader agent, it's a new agent in transaction replication. So the log reader agent will go and read the database log file. That is a database LDF file. And if it find any changes for a table that is part of replication, then it pull all the changes from this log file and keeps it in a distribution database. The changes will be kept in distribution database, and from this distribution database, the distribution agent picks all the changes and apply them on the subscriber. So let me show you the other presentation. So here I have publishing tables and publishing database and tables, and on the right hand side I have got a subscribing database. So in transaction replication also we have snapshot agent. Okay, distribution agent will exist in all types of replication, and snapshot agent will also exist in all type of replication. So in transaction replication, the snapshot agent, it will initially take snapshot of all the tables and it keeps in a replication directory, and from there the distribution agent will push those tables data into the subscribing database. So once the initial snapshot been applied, then this log reader agent will come into picture, and the log reader agent will read the data from the database log file, and the changes, if it find any changes, those changes will be moved to the distribution database, and from distribution database the distribution agent picks those changes and apply them on subscribing database. So what all the limitations we have taught in the snapshot replication, as it names, I'm taking the same example, like have 100 rows. So this first line would be the identical, so I'm copying this entire line. The first time snapshot will run, and it will pick up all the rows on your table from your publisher and apply onto the subscriber. And now a user has inserted 10 rows in this table. Okay, so now the snapshot will not be there. Only for the first time the snapshot will be there, and from now the log reader agent will read the database log file, and it finds the 10 rows inserted in the table. So it picks up those 10 rows information and keep them in distributed database. The 10 rows will be kept in distributed database, and the distribution agent push those 10 rows into your subscriber. So in total you have 110 rows here. So the major difference between the snapshot replication and transaction replication is the transaction replication will take the transactions that were updated, and those updated transactions were pushed onto the subscriber. And on the other side, a user has deleted 5 rows from a table. Still, the logger agent will take this information from the database log file and it push that information to your distribution database, and using the distribution agent the 5 rows will be deleted and the total rows you can find is 105. So this is how happens in transaction replication, and this transaction replication is used for highly transactional databases. You only want to replicate the changes that were happening on the publisher onto the subscriber, then you can go for transactional replication. Is it clear, the architecture? So let me make a note here, the agents involved, which is a snapshot agent and distribution agent. For transaction replication, we do have snapshot agent which take initial snapshot, and then after we got logger agent, and then distribution agent. We do have a queue reader agent as well. What it does is it will just read the queue, saying that okay, how many rows are in queue that need to be applied on the other side. But the major work being done by your log reader agent. So shall I go ahead and show you the demo for the transaction replication? Okay, let me pick up one of the database. For a snapshot replication, we don't have any prerequisites, right? The database can be any recovery model. Even for transaction replication, it is the same. Database can be in any recovery model. The database can be in simple, full, or bulk locked. It is still possible to set up transaction replication, but the one prerequisite is for transaction replication, the table should have primary key. The tables that got primary key are only eligible. Table with primary key are only eligible for transactional replication. If you don't have a primary key on your table, then that table is not eligible for transaction replication. So let me show you that. I would pick up the second database, CRM underscore differential 2. So I have got a students table on this table as well, and I don't think it got a primary key. So let me check. Yeah, it doesn't have a primary key. If it is a primary key, then it will show you a key symbol on right to it. The other way to check is expand the table and you can see keys. If there are any keys, primary key or foreign key, it will list it out here. As of now, I don't have any keys. So let me first go through with this setup. Like I don't have any primary key. This database table is not eligible for a transaction replication, but let me show you. So in order to set up replication, again you need to go to your distribute publisher server, go to replication and right click on local publications and select new publication. And you find a slight difference over here at the next page. When we were configuring the snapshot replication, at this next wizard, it asked us to configure distribution, right? Whether you want to use your publisher as distributor or you want to use any other server as a distributor, right? So that wizard is not appearing now. It is because we already configured the distribution. The one other thing I forgot to show you is when you configure a distribution on this instance, you find a new database will be created under system databases. If you go back to your presentations, we are talking about distribution database, right? So this distribution database is this one. And you have to configure only for one time on an instance. And this single distribution can be used for n number of replications on this instance. So we already configured a distribution when we are setting up a snapshot replication, right? So now we are trying to set up a new transaction replication and we can still use the distribution database that exists. You don't need to create another one. It's not required. So in this window, you need to select the database, that is CRM underscore differential 2, the database which you want to add for transaction replication, and then you can go on to next. Select the type of replication you want to set up, go on to next. Okay, what it says is database CRM underscore differential 2 contains no objects. It says there are no objects, but we know that there is an object as a students. Why it says no object is this particular wizard will only check the tables with primary keys, and the table that doesn't have a primary key, it is not available. So you can click OK and expand it, and you see there is a red color symbol, stop symbol. That means you cannot add, this table is not eligible for replication. And bottom you can see the description here. This table cannot be published because it does not have a primary key column. Primary key columns are required for all tables in transaction publication. So it is a mandatory. We need to have a primary key, then only we can add the table to the replication, that is to the transactional replication. So let me go back and add primary key on this table, or else I create a new table and add primary key to it. Here's CRM differential 2, create. So we have created a new table in CRM differential 2. This is the table. Tables, refresh. So I've got a new table. You can expand it and go to keys. So you can see this is a primary. PK indicates the primary key. If it is FK, then it is a foreign key. So we have a table with primary key. Now let me go back and see if it refreshes. No. Possibly I need to restart this wizard. New publication. Go to next. Select the database. Next. Select the replication. Go to next. Now you can see for table underscore test, it is allowing me to select. And for the students, it is not possible. You cannot select it. Say it clearly says that this table is not eligible for transaction replication. And then you can go on to next. I don't have any criteria to filter the rows, so I go to next. And the same thing, the snapshot agent, I want to create it immediately, so you can go to the snapshot folder. The same folder will be used. We'll find a new folder will be created under here after this wizard. And how frequently you want to run your snapshot agent. By default, the snapshot agent, we can make it to run 14 days, so that once in every 2 weeks your snapshot agent runs and picks all the data from your publisher, and it will check with the subscriber to see if there are anything missing. If they are missing, it will apply. So it is just to be at safer side, we are running the snapshot agent maybe once in 2 weeks. So you can change it if required. So you can change it. There's a default one, once in 14 days. Okay, you can go on to next, and you can see the snapshot agent and the logger agent. Provide the security settings for these two agents. And go on to next. And next, this will create a publication. CRM underscore differential 2. This is trans replication sub. So the first, it will create a publication, then it will add articles, and then third step, it gonna create a snapshot. So now we should see a snapshot under here. So you can see here a new folder got created. So a snapshot was created just before now at 5:59, and this is this snapshot of the table which we have added. So we have created a publication. So the next step is to create a subscriber for this replication. So you need to right click on the publication and then select new subscription. You can go on to next. Select the publication for which you want to create a subscription. Then go on to next. And again, do you want to go with push subscription or pull subscription? So I want to stick with push subscription so that all my agents will be created on my distributed instance. Add a subscriber. Oh, I haven't created a database on the other instance. So let me create the database. CRM underscore differential 2. Okay, let me go back and connect here. It's not showing. I will try to add it and see if it shows. Yeah. When I click here, you can see the second option says add non-SQL subscriber. That means you can also replicate your data to a non-SQL environment like DB2, Sybase, or Oracle. You can still replicate data from SQL environment to non-SQL environment. Go on to next. Provide the security agent information for distribution agent. So I make it to run under SQL Server agent service account. Go on to next. And I want to synchronize it continuously. When a change happens on the publisher, that change should be replicated to a subscriber immediately. And this is for snapshot initialization, and you can finish it. And these two, the snapshot agent and the the snapshot replication and this transactional replication, those two replications, in those two replications, the data will flow one way. that is from publisher to subscriber. I repeat it again. In snapshot replication and transaction replication, the data will flow one way from publisher onto the subscriber. So we have configured a transaction replication, so you can expand the database, go to tables, and you see the snapshot has been applied initially. Now what we do is we try to do some changes, that is we try to add records to our publisher server. So this is my publisher server and this is my publisher database. So I'm going to insert some rows on this table. This is tbl underscore test values 1 comma sample data. So I have inserted a row, select the data, and execute it, and you can see there's a one row. I'm copying the query. You can go back to your subscriber instance and connect to your subscriber database and execute it, and you can see there's a one row inserted. It will be very quick. If you insert one more record here, number 2, and select the data, you can see there are 2 records available. And if you come back over here and click on execute, you can see the second row got transferred. So it's a very quick. The maximum time it's gonna take is 60 seconds. So data will appear on the other side immediately. So in this case, earlier there was a one row and we have added second row now. So only that second row will be copied and replicated on your subscriber. So in order to check how it's working, you can go on to replication monitor and expand it. You can find two things. The first is for snapshot and second is for transactional replication, and it gives some warning symbol saying like performance critical, but obviously I don't have any database, I know users are connecting to it, so it's nothing to do from my side now. So you can go on to view details to check how the data being transferred. You can see there's a one transaction commands were delivered just before we have added one row, so that row got transferred. And even you can check the latency and the performance. How if there is any delay in transferring the data, then it's going to show you the latency here. Guys, can you hear me? All right. So if you notice if something is going wrong or your subscriber is not picking up the data, then this is the place you need to come and check what is the status, and you can debug like going into right click and go into details. If there are any errors, it will list out the errors here, and based upon the errors we need to work on it. And always you can take help of Google for the error messages. So this is all about the replication, the snapshot and transactional. There's a one more replication I would like to show you, which is a merge replication. Probably we are short of time now, so I will hold on that and I will discuss tomorrow the snapshot, the merge replication. So the merge replication is a two-way replication where the users, if they update any records on subscribers, that will be pushed over to the publisher. It's a two-way bi-directional replication. Yeah, sure. We'll upload those recorded sessions on the same day. So do you have any more questions? Okay, all right guys, so that's it from my side today. So I would like to close the call now, and we'll be back tomorrow with merged replication. And the next high availability for clustering and always on, I would like to have just a theory class. I can't show you the demo for clustering or always on. I would require a VMwares for that to show you. So I will just explain the concept of the clustering and always on, and then the next topic is the performance tuning, and with that we'll be completing our sessions, the training sessions. So probably it might take another 2 or 3 classes more. Okay guys, we'll upload the classes. Thank you very much. Have a good day.